guys, it's TsubakiSwagg, and I'm coming to you with a review of Log Horizon episode 15, Attack. It'll be in this general area as always. In order for me to better explain the newest episode, I have to go back and talk about the last episode, which was episode 14. And pretty much in episode 14 they explained why, well, not necessarily why they were in the game, but pretty much the concepts of being in the game, like because their bodies are still out, their bodies are still technically outside the game, but their psyche is inside the game. If they die within the game, they will start losing their memory because their psyche and their anima are being separated. And when it comes back together, they lose some of their memories. So the more they die in the game, it's possible that they might start forgetting what it's like to live in the real world, which is a very scary concept if you think about it. Which makes Log Horizon even more different than Sword Art Online, because at least in Sword Art Online they still knew that they were still out, they were still in the game and there was such a thing as the outside world. But people started learning how to just live in Sword Art as opposed to trying to get out of it and possibly dying. So in that sense, I like Log Horizon a little bit better, because even though you do die in the game, you do get to come back, but you run the risk of losing your memories, which is a very scary concept. But anyways, it picks up where the last one left off at, where they're on the beach, because of course they're still on the beach, because they're still going through the dungeons trying to level themselves up. And everybody was all happy-go-lucky and everything, but while all this was happening, they cut to the ocean, and there are literally thousands of fishmen swimming towards the beach, well, in that general direction. And then they cut to Shori, who is talking to Henrietta about making a map. Because he is a scribe, well, not necessarily a scribe, because he's a sorcerer, he also, his minor class is scribe, if I remember correctly. So he is more capable of making maps and making documents and things of that nature, more so than anybody else. So he was making a map, not necessarily to level himself up, but he needed it. And he was using higher level items so that way it would last longer, which thusly would level him up anyways. But while he was doing all this, he couldn't stop thinking about the conversation that he had with the Sage of Mirror Lake. Well, the Sage of Mirror Lake's apprentice, I guess you could say, Reagan. And he just couldn't stop thinking about it, because the more that people die in the game, it's possible that they will start forgetting about the real world, which isn't a good thing for whenever they just so happen to be able to get out of the game. But while all this was happening, Minori called him and was because throughout pretty much the main bulk of this episode is Minori, Isuzu, Toya, Rudy, and Sirara are going through the dungeon, and Minori finally gets the courage to actually tell her teammates that they need to get to know each other better, because she is a very soft-spoken person, and she was afraid to sit them down and tell them that they all need to pretty much talk to each other and learn more about each other to better be able to work together, which is understandable, I suppose. But she finally got them to sit down and they talked to each other, and when they finally did so, they were finally able to get further in the dungeon than they ever had before, because they better knew each other's skills and strategies, and they used those to work together to defeat the burning dead within the dungeon, which thusly brought them closer together. But in that was pretty much the bulk of the episode, was them going through the dungeon and getting to know each other better and everything. And of course they showed Shori talking to Akatsuki about people pretty much forgetting about who they really are, not necessarily who they are within the game, but who they were outside of this world, outside of Eldertale. And then, of course, they cut back to them being on the beach, and out of nowhere, all the the fishmen just jump out of the ocean and start fighting everybody. And of course, they're only like level 20, between like level 20 and level 25, which is about average for all the people that are training out there. But there are so many, it is going to be near impossible to fight all of them and everybody survive. So, and that was pretty much the end of the episode, was the fishermen coming onto the beach, which I don't know how they're going to get out of this one. I don't even think they know, but it looks like the next episode is going to be pretty interesting. So, that was pretty much the end of the episode. But it seems like Log Horizon is picking back up a little bit, because the last couple of episodes they were kind of just like talking and stuff. They weren't really doing any like actiony type stuff like they had been doing prior to. So I'm looking forward to see what the next episode holds, and I would love to hear what y'all think is going to happen in the next episode. But as always, please, please, please remember to comment, rate, and subscribe. And this is TsubakiSwagg saying adios.